and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good and wonderful people of the Tube Purple today. Hope feeling grand and all is well in your world. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to NQ Wednesday, everybody. Let's get to question one today, shall we? Yes, let's do it now. Okay, so question one today, people of the Tube, is... before I actually start it, if you want to submit a question for ANQ Wednesday, people of the Tube, description box below has an email link. Email me there. Okay, so anyway, question one. I was wondering if you ever feel you're too depressed or tired to play guitar for a couple of days. If yes, how do you get the motivation to play again? The thing that... It's kind of a difficult question to answer that one because I'm kind of like reversed on that one. I never feel too tired to play or too down to play. Because playing guitar and music is the only thing that's ever really kind of brought me out of depression, if you will. So like, literally, it's the only real thing, should I say, that I've ever kind of relied on to really pull me out of the darkness of my mind sometimes. So I find it quite hard to feel like that. What gets me depressed is when I can't play the guitar. Or if I don't have one near me. Even if I don't play the thing, I have to have one near me. I can't be without a guitar. They're just literally... I just can't live without them. I really can't. I don't really kind of particularly want to. It sounds weird, people with tube, but trust me, that's the way I feel about it. But I've always found escape in playing the guitar. It's one of those things that's never really kind of waned because I've always kind of gone to it in my kind of like, you know, if you want to call it my kind of like hour of need, so to say. Like when I've kind of really needed a distraction from my mind or something that's going on, you know, internally or whatnot. I've always gone to the guitar and it's always been there for me. It's why it's my, you know, my best friend, you know, especially Mr. White here. This is my, you know, he was my therapist, best friend. You know, he was everything. Yeah, this guitar was everything to me when I needed it. You know, it really is, and that's why it's always becoming my number one guitar. To get motivation back, I mean, it's really difficult, really, because it kind of depends on what's going on in your head. It's very easy for me to kind of like say this, that, and the other, but without actually knowing exactly where you are in your mind, it's really hard for me to actually kind of really advise what to do there. Because if you feel too tired to play or you feel too depressed to pick up guitar, I don't really know what to recommend. Well, the first thing I would say is don't feel too bad about it. You know, if you don't pick up the guitar for a couple of days, don't feel bad about that. Don't let that feed the depression monster, basically. You know, don't let that in. It's okay to not want to play. You know what I mean? You know, you see guitarists like Paul Gilbert and people like that. They say, oh, I went on holiday, I didn't even play guitar for a week or 2 weeks, you know. And I think taking a break from guitar is not a bad thing. There are days when I will play the guitar for maybe 5 minutes and then put it down and I won't play it for the rest of the day. But I actually feel weird if I don't play the guitar at least once in a day. Even if it is just for 5 minutes and I just noodle about on it or whatnot. But don't let not playing or not practicing fuel the beast, if that makes any sense. Don't let it get in there because it can run riot. You know, you'll have problems. As for getting motivation, I mean, that has to come from really you and within. As much as that pains me to say that, because it sounds a bit of a cop-out, to be perfectly honest. But you have to kind of like, you have to find that inner kind of inner desire or want. I don't know what the word would be there. I'm kind of struggling with this one a little bit. But I've never really, because I've never really not wanted to play the guitar. Like I say, guitar has always been my escape, my release, my vent, my therapy, if you will. Like, you know, it really has. It's sort of, music has always been that thing. I can just like, I can turn off the world. I can turn it all off. You know, the world in this day and age just seems to be getting like crazier by the day. it's going from one crazy event to another crazy event, and then back to this crazy event, and then to another crazy event, and then all over the shop. And in all fairness, I kind of can't cope with it, to be perfectly honest with you, people. Like, the world, and the way it is now with what's going on, it's just like, what's actually happening? You know, is this the end of the world? It really feels like that. So, you know, music is always my escape from that, and I can just go, I'm going to play guitar, and I'm going to turn the world off. And I'm not going to think about it, and I'm not going to care about it, because there's nothing I can do anyway about it. You know, I'm one person in a whole world. I'm a drop in the ocean. You know, there's nothing I can do about changing the world, unfortunately. You know, so I have to just escape it, otherwise I'd have a breakdown again, and I don't really want to. So I've always found music and the guitar is my escape, and again, it came along for me when I really needed that. But if you're struggling, if you feel too depressed or too tired to play because of depression or whatever's going on, then that's definitely, it's not nice. That is not nice, and I really feel for you. I really do. That's horrible. But don't torture yourself over not playing. Don't do it. You know, if you don't play, that's okay. It really is. You know what I mean? Don't let that feed the monster. You know, things happen when they happen. It's much in the same way as writing songs. You know, if you sit down to write a song, or you're playing guitar and you're like, or bass or drums or whatever, and you want to write a song and nothing's coming, it means it's not the right time. You know, you have to be patient, and you have to kind of like just take a step back and go, it'll come when it's ready. You know, and invariably it does. You just got to wait. You've got to be patient, and sometimes it takes a week, a year, a month, you know, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. But if you're struggling, number one thing I would say is you need to talk to somebody about what's going on internally. Don't bottle it up. Don't internalize. Vent it. Get it out. You know, whether it's to friends, family, your dog, it doesn't matter. You need to verbalize what's going on within. You're not going to get anywhere by just holding everything inside. You really need to just vent it all out. And it doesn't matter who you do it to. It's all about hearing it out loud, coming out of your mouth. That is the main important thing when it comes down to mental health problems. Is it doesn't matter if you're talking to a guitar, an amp, whatever, a dog, cat, sheep in the local field, whatever. Speaking it out loud makes it real. And when it's real, you can deal with it. When it's internalized, you can't deal with it because it could be one of a million things. That probably isn't true. So, but if you're having trouble with this, seriously, talk. Find somebody to talk to, and who will give you time of day, and they'll just sit there and listen and let you vent it out. That is the most important part of this cycle, is you just need to vent it. You can't just sit there going through it on your own. You won't beat it on your own. It's impossible. You need others to help you get through it. You need to talk it through. You need to be able to go, oh, that's what's going on. You know, and the only way you do that is by talking. You know, that is the number one problem with mental health conditions that I personally believe, is people just don't talk about the problem. Either they feel they'll be ridiculed about it, or they'll be humiliated by it, or it'll be stupid, or whatever, or somebody will just take the mick, or whatever. And that kind of thing is like, that is just ridiculous. And if people do that, you don't want those people in your life. Because if people can take the mick out of you struggling and suffering, then what the hell are they? What the hell is wrong with them? And I'm a firm believer in like the fact of, you know, when you find the right people to talk to, it all just floods out. And once it comes out, it's better. You know, you feel lighter, you feel airier, you feel like, you know, you can breathe again. You feel more awake, you feel less depressed, you feel more motivated to get on and do things. But seriously, if you're depressed and you're tired, and this goes for anyone out there, people too, this isn't just goes to this guy, this goes to anybody out there who's suffering with this kind of thing, you need to find somebody to talk to. Let it out. You have to vent it. You do not keep it internal. It's like a parasite. It will just eat and eat and eat and eat you away. The more you can get it out, the better you will be. Trust me, I promise to you that. You know, it will help you. But if you internalize it, it's never going to go away. It just won't. And in all fairness, for some people like me and some people like that, it'll never go away. But we can live with it to the point where it doesn't affect us in our day-to-day life. It's always going to be there, but we can actually live our life the way we want to do it, one way or another. Sometimes it's going to be horrible, sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable, sometimes it's going to be a low and a down point, but you can still live. And that's everything. It's literally everything. But like I say, I mean, just breathe through it as well. Another thing. But if you're too tired or depressed to feel like you can't play guitar, and the guitar isn't helping with that, then you need to find another way around to get out of this. Because invariably, when you get out of this, the guitar will come back. You know what I mean? Guitar, like I say, to me has always been my vent. But it's not the way it is for everybody. That's what works for me. That doesn't mean it'll work for everybody. Unfortunately, I wish it was that way. But music can help as well. Listening to your favorite music, just sitting down and just trying to turn off the world. Find your way of turning the world off, because the world's absolutely mental and designed at this point in time to literally destroy and demoralize you. It just feels that way to me. It feels like everything at this point in time is just there to just crush us. It's just, if it's not one thing, there's another thing. And it's all depressing. There's nothing good. There's nothing good. It's all negative. It's all bad. And that just rots you. It rots your soul. It rots your will, your get up and go, your motivation. It just strips everything away from you and just leaves you scared and depressed and tired and fed up and sick to death of stuff. We all need to find a way to just turn off the bloody world, because it's just getting out of hand. Every day there's something different to just depress us, to knock us down a little bit further and just keep us down on our knees and just go, stay down there, that's where you belong. And I'm sick of it. I am sick of it. Whether it's one thing or another, I'm not getting into politics, but it is all about that mostly. It's just frustration, and there's always something coming along that's worse. This is going to kill you, that's going to happen to you, this is going to run over you, that's going to throw you out of a plane at 50,000 feet with no parachute. I can't cope with the world like that. The world doesn't have to be like that. I mean, maybe I'm being idealistic. Probably mostly, I don't care. If that's the way it is, that's fine by me. But I'm sick of it. I'm sick of negative and nasty and depression and this and the other. And there's far too much of it, and it's just crushing people. You can see it in people. When you go to the supermarket, you can see it in people's eyes, this crushing kind of feeling that everybody feels right now. And it's worldwide as well. It's not just like certain places. It's everywhere. It's not in certain people. It's in everyone. And it's just crippling. It's just breaking the backs of everyone. And it's heartbreaking. I've lived, like a lot of us have, people have achieved, with depression and anxiety and all this horrible crap that comes along with trauma and abuse. For nearly over 20 years now, I've lived with it. And I'm only now getting a handle on it. And to see that look in everyone's eyes, not just occasional people like it used to be, to see that look in everybody's eyes of, I don't really know what's going on. Because everyone has it, even if they say they don't. Everyone's a little bit scared right now, and rightly so. Because we're not being given any real confidence in anything. You know what I mean? There's no confidence in anything. Things just keep going wrong. Things keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And to just see that defeat and that depression and that anxiety and that crushing pain that everyone's carrying on their shoulders of what is going on, what's the new thing today that's going to hurt us, is heartbreaking. It's actually heartbreaking, and it's really hard to cope with and really hard to see. I don't know. Anyway, PivoTube, I'm going to get off that subject now, and I'm going to move on to question 2 because I could waffle on about that all day. But like I say, if you feel like you're too depressed or too tired, you really need to talk this one out. Whatever's bothering you will be better out of you than in you. I promise you that. It really will. Just get it out. Talk to anybody who will give you time of the day and who cares and loves you and will give you that time. Talk to them. Get it out. Don't bottle it up. It's not good. It's a poison. It's a parasite. It will just destroy you. Get it out. It's better out than in. Trust me, I promise you. Okay, I'm going to move on to question 2 now. Okay, so question 2 today is, what are your thoughts on Fender Strats 1966-67 big headstock with small logo? I really like them. You know, let's change the subject from darkness. Let's talk about something cheery for a change. And let's talk about guitars because that's always a nice topic to conversation. So big headstocks with this tiny transition logo, cool as. I love them. I don't love them as much as the big later 70s logos. You know, like the big one there, the big block massive Fender logo with the big block Stratocaster logo. I adore that. That is my favourite Fender headstock. It really is. I mean, I love the spaghetti logos like I've got here. These are all spaghetti logos. But there's just something cool about the big headstock. And mainly, well, partly because of Jimi Hendrix, but also because I've always loved the look of it. There's just something about the big headstock with the big Strat logo or whatever logo it's got on it. Telecaster Deluxe, I think they had big headstocks, and there's just something about them, and I like those 70s Strats. I mean, yeah, some are heavier than the anchor of the Titanic, but not all of them, and not all of them are bad. And this is a weird thing. Is like, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, 70s Strats are all garbage." No, they're not. You know, some of them are amazing. You know, they really are. It's the same as CBS Strats. Not all CBS Strats are great. You know, not CBS. Sorry. Pre-CBS Strats. There you go. Get a word right. You know, not all pre-CBS Strats are great. You know, they're not. John Entwistle 62 that I played was rubbish. It really was. I've played better Squires than that guitar. That guitar felt, sounded, and was just bad. It looked great, but that's about as far as it went. The rest of it played badly. Even with me trying to set it up better, it still played badly. Different strings played badly, felt bad. The tremolo felt bad. Everything felt bad. The neck was bad. Oh my god, that guitar was not good. But there's good and bad in everything. You know, just because it's pre-CBS doesn't mean it's like, you know, the best of the best. Just because it's CBS doesn't mean it's the worst of the worst. And that goes for anything. You know, just because it's Squire doesn't mean it's crap. Just because it's Epiphone doesn't mean it's crap. You know, some Epiphones, some Squires are better than Fender and Gibson. They just are, you know. But, you know, a lot of people don't want to admit that, but that's, you know, I will, because I love it. I love it when you find a cheap guitar, like the Jet, for instance. My God. The Jet guitar, or the Squire Bullet. Those guitars are stunning. Absolutely stunning instruments. They are absolutely insanely good. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I do like the big headstocks with the transition logo, like the 64, 65 transition logo. That's really cool. I really like that. But I do prefer the later big lettering that CBS put on their headstocks. I think that's really, really cool. But I love big headstocks. You know, as much as I love the tiny headstocks of the pre-CBS ones, like these three here, and technically the Oswald as well, but the Oswald's Nick's own design, so it's not quite Fender. As much as I love the small headstocks, I do love the big 70s headstock. It's so cool. When you turn it upside down, it looks like a shark, which you can't go wrong with. You know, it looks ridiculous. And Jimi Hendrix, you know, Jimmy, big headstock. You know, one of the coolest men in the world ever used them. So, you know, it's got to be cool. But I think Jimmy went a long way to that. But Yngwie Malmsteen, his Strats big headstocks look amazing. Robin Trower, big headstock. Jim Root, I love Jim Root's signature Strat, the white one with big headstock, ebony board, 2 EMGs. I really want to try that guitar. I really want to try that Strat. It looks amazing. I'd like to try the Jazzmaster as well and the Telecaster, but the Strat mainly because I'm a Strat nut. But There's something to be said for the big headstocks. There really is. Whether people believe it gives more sustain, there's more wood, so it gives a bit more this and or whatever. Whatever you believe, cool. I just prefer the way it looks aesthetically. I really like the way they look. It's really, really cool. Anyway, but yeah, I do love the look of those ones. The 67, 66, 67 big heads with the small logo, they're cool as well. But I just don't think they're as cool as the later one. And they're not quite as cool as the spaghetti logo. They're kind of like lower on the board for me. To me, it is kind of like, big headstocks with transition logo, small headstocks with transition logo, then spaghetti logo, and then the big, massive CBS logo. I love that one to bits. Okay, so you also said, I couldn't find any website with merch. Could you link it to your videos? Yes, I can indeed, yes. If you want to look for Dave Simpson Good Gravy merch, in the description box below, there is a link to my Teespring where you can buy hoodies, t-shirts. I think there's a mug on there as well, and there's some stickers as well. I'm trying to get more stuff on there, but Teespring's not playing ball right now. I think there's something seriously wrong with it. So, but I will get more stuff on there. I'm going to get some caps done. I'm going to get some Dave Simpson Trio t-shirts and hoodies done as well. So as soon as I can get them up there, it'll probably be in the new year now. But as soon as I can get them done and up there, I will let you know, people of YouTube, that it's all on there and I've updated it and whatnot. So yeah, that's there. So yeah, anyway, hope that's the question. I'm going to move on to question 3 now. Question 3. Okay. Do you like to play any early Duane Allman brothers, Duane era Allman brothers? I'm currently deep into E slide and getting that cross over Marshall tone just right. Wondered if I've been there. I haven't actually, no. I do like Duane Allman's playing. I like his tone, but he's not one of those guitarists that's ever been on my radar long enough for me to actually learn anything they've done. He's one of those guitarists that I've kind of like, been curious about, gone to listen to, gone, that's really awesome. But kind of, it hasn't gone in. There's I'm sure we've all had that, people too, where, you get guitarists that just don't click. And unfortunately, Duane's one of them. And I love his playing. His tone is great. The slide thing and all that, it's amazing. But for me, he's not knocking on the back door of Rory Gallagher or anybody like that. He's great, but it's not for me, really. It doesn't really click. Maybe later in life it might, in a couple of years, tomorrow it might, who knows. But at this point in time, it's not something I'm really kind of into. And I have kind of like listened a bit, but it's not really gone in. There's quite a few guitarists that kind of I listen to every now and again. I'm just like, nah, I'm not feeling anything. And invariably, if I can't feel anything, I just kind of, I'm not listening, because it's kind of like it's not going in, and that's just the way that is, it really is. It's very yeah, that is what it is. I can't really say any more than that, really. But it's not because they're rubbish or I don't like them. It's just the fact is they're just not doing anything for me. And it's like I say multiple times now, people too. When I listen to music, I like music to go inside. I like to feel it go like inside. And if it doesn't do that, I can't invest in it. And if I can't invest in it, I'm not going to listen to it. So it's really important for me to be able to feel the playing, much in like, when John Frusciante, Jimi Hendrix, Rory Gallagher, Peter Green, Mike McCready, you name it. When they play, I can feel that kind of playing. And if I can't feel it, then I kind of like I'm not really interested in it. I find it very hard to maintain motivation on music that I can't feel. Because I really just struggle with that one. It just doesn't connect, so to say. Like I say, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just doesn't always work out that way. It's annoying sometimes though, because sometimes I kind of really want to learn things, but if I can't get it in, I can't get it in, and I'm not going to fight that, because that's obviously not meant for me. That's for other people, and that's fine as well. But I do love Duane Allman's like tone. His tone's amazing, and it's great, and his slide playing's amazing. He's playing amazing in general anyway. I mean, those guitarists back then are just otherworldly, most of them. So, but yeah, I do love his playing, but I've never actually been there to kind of like sit there and learn and go to Open E and stuff like that. I've never done anything like that. So, I'm going to move on to final question today, people do. Question 4. I really need a drink. My throat is dry. Anyway, it's the rant in question 1. Anyway, question 1 today is, I've been playing guitar for about 6 months now, and I've discovered that I prefer gauge 9 strings on the Stratocaster scale length because it's less strenuous to play. My question is, if I play a Les Paul or a Jaguar with gauge 9s, will it feel drastically different, or would you recommend 10s? I noticed you use 9s on the 9s on the Jaguar, and I would like to play similar to the Strat with 9s. I actually use 10s on my Jag. I don't use 9s on the Jaguar because I prefer gauge 10s on Fenders. Well, actually, that's not 100% true because the 62 here loves gauge 10s. Mr. White, he's not fussy. He doesn't care what's on him. You know, if there's 8s, 9s, 10s, that's about as far as I'm going. I hate 11s. I hate 12s. Anything above gauge 10s, I just can't abide. But Mr. White here, he doesn't care what he's got. As long as he's got strings on it, he's a happy bunny. So gauge 9s, 10s, whatever. Normally he's got 10s, but he's had all sorts. He doesn't mind. The SD62 here likes 10s. The Oswald Red Strat here likes 9s. It had when Nick sent me this guitar, and for the longest time, the first time I was playing this, it had 10s on it. And then one day I broke a string, and the only strings I had at that time were 9s. So I just restrung it with 9s, and all of a sudden the guitar was just like smile. It felt happy. So that's always got 9s on it now. You just have to judge the guitar and what it is. My Jaguar really likes 10s because of the way I've got it set up. The John Strat, the John Frusciante Oswald over there, that likes gauge 10s. The Tokai Les Paul here, that likes 9s. Can't talk about that Les Paul yet. You've seen it, but I haven't spoken about it yet. But you've got to take guitars on what they kind of want and what kind of you kind of feel best with, really, more than anything. Because if you went for like a Les Paul Junior or Les Paul, if you got like a Les Paul and you put like 9s on it, you might go, it doesn't feel right. It might, and you might go to gauge 10s and go, oh, that's better. Or you might go to gauge 8s and go, oh, that's even better. Or even 7s, Billy Gibbons way. You just got to go by what the guitar and you like. What feels best. And each guitar is different. I don't really feel like, sometimes when I put 9s on a Les Paul guitar, they don't really work. It's really weird. It's like, but that's very rare, to be honest with you. But sometimes I'll put like 9s on a Les Paul or feel 9s on a Les Paul. I'm like, I don't really like the feel of that. But in all my Les Pauls that I've got, they all really prefer 9s. They all feel great with 9s. So, like this one here, which I'm not going to talk about just yet, the Tokai, the RTL, the Vintage V100. I remember putting 10s on my Vintage at one point, and literally that guitar was just like, nope, I don't care what you do. Nope, I'm not, nope, not doing this. Nope. It really rebelled. And funny enough, actually, the 62 really rebelled when I put 9s on the 62. It was like, what are you doing? And I'll put 10s back in. It was like, better. But if you like 9s, start with 9s. If you want to go, if you want to get a Les Paul or a Jaguar, get one and put 9s on it and see how it feels. Just see how it feels. See how you get on with it. And don't just kind of judge it on first feel. You need to sit and you need to play with it for a while. I would say a good week or two. Just see how it feels and see how it settles in more than anything. Because invariably new strings are going to be a bit iffy anyway. So I would say just kind of like go by what you like. If you like 9s, go for 9s. If you like 10s, go for 10s. If you like, whatever, go for whatever you want. Personally, like I say, I stop at gauge 10s because I think anything over that is just... It's too much of hard work, that is, at that point in time. I want to be able to enjoy the guitar, not fight the thing. I don't come from that world of I want to pick a fight with the guitar. I want to enjoy playing it. I don't want it to do what I want it to do, and it wants me to do what music wants me to do. So the easier I can make that, the clearer I can make the riverbed, so to say, for the water to flow through, the better it is. So if music wants me to play, like, for instance, I had no idea what guitar to do for the intro jam today. I had no idea what to do. Because I sometimes don't get it until I get into video mode, basically, into the room. And I came up here and I set my pedal board up and got everything kind of ready. And I was like, what am I going to play? And just music wanted the white Les Paul. It wanted that kind of funky kind of like both pickups on kind of sound with some weird kind of swell from a Mel 9. And it wanted me to kind of play in that staccato-y kind of, but kind of every now and again fast kind of way. And like say, if my Les Paul was set up with like gauge 12 strings on it, which I can't abide and don't like the feel of, and there's just too much tension, and I can't do that, then that's going to hinder what music wants of me. And if I can't give music what it wants, I'm not doing my job right, you know. And so, you know, if music says I want this, I need to be able to do that, and I need the right guitar to do that. You know, I need the right pedals to do that. If music goes, I want this, I know it, and I can't do that, then I'm not doing my job right, and music's going to be like, well, what the hell? You know, so I want to abide by music. So if it says, I want you to do that, that guitar is perfect. You know, I can play that Tokai so well. I mean, the action on it is to die for, the neck is to die for, the tone is to die for. It weighs more than the Titanic, this one does, but 10.5 pounds. It's a very heavy Les Paul. But my God, I've got a bass strap on it, and it's really padded, and it's really nice, because once you get that guitar sat on you, you don't feel the weight. It's great. But it is still kind of like pushing you down into the ground. Stop it! No! It's worth it though, people of the tube. It's worth it. That guitar is heavenly. Anyway, that's definitely a guitar that I'll never get rid of in my life. If I have to lose that guitar, something's gone really wrong. Anyway, but like I say, it's all about being the best you can be for music. So if you go with gauge 9s and they don't feel right, and music's like, yeah, maybe you should go up a bit or down a bit. It's all about you obeying what music wants of you, and your guitar needs to be able to let you do that. Excuse me. And if your guitar is hindering in you doing that, that's not a good thing. You know, you don't want to be straining to do it. You know, I mean, if you know, you don't want to be pushing your hand to its limit as well. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to lose the ability to play. You know, give yourself carpal tunnel syndrome ain't going to help nothing. So just any guitar you get, if you like 9s, any guitar you get from now on, put 9s on it. You'll find out very, you know, in a short space of time if you like it or you don't like it. And if I feel too tense, you go to gauge 8s. If I feel too loose, go to gauge 10s. You know what I mean? You'll know. It's just experience and just doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. It will come to you. Don't worry about that. But you know, the fact that you said you've been playing 6 months now. I mean, gauge 9s, perfect. I would never recommend anything above gauge 9s for somebody who's been playing that amount of time. You know, you don't want to go to gauge 10s. If anything, you know, you won't be using gauge 8s or 9s when you first start playing guitar. I can't, like those people who kind of like start playing, oh yeah, you need to start playing on 9s because it'll strengthen your fingers. No, it won't. Anyway, just my opinion, people too. But yeah, so it's really cool, really. I mean, you just get that. Eventually, you just get that feeling. You just know what you want and what music wants and what the guitar wants, and you just become this kind of like, instead of it kind of like being 3 separate entities, it's just one entity, and you're just kind of like going with whatever music wants. Music just takes you, and you just flow with it, you know. And again, the clearer that riverbed is, you know, the less rocks in the way and stuff like that, hindrances in the way, the easier it will flow, and the more kind of it can just be out there. So you just gotta take time to just experience a little bit more. But again, if you like 9s, stick with 9s. You can't go wrong. You really can't. And if you like them, go for it. Don't let anybody, and this is another thing, people, don't let anybody ever tell you that you're doing something wrong if you like it and it feels good and right to you. It's not wrong. It's not wrong if you feel it's right. It doesn't matter what they say. You know, oh, you're using solid state amps. I wouldn't do that because I don't like them. Great for you. I like them. If you don't like it, that's fine. But don't tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. You know, it's ridiculous. It really is. Anyway, and the same thing goes to string gauge. If somebody comes on and says, oh, you need to put gauge 11s on that, or 12s on that, or 13s, or whatever, it's like, no, you don't. Stevie Ray Vaughnisms, you know. Like I said, no one used really heavy strings before Stevie. You know, the highest people went was 10s. And then Stevie came along with gauge like 13s and 14s, and everyone just thinks that's what you need to do. And it's like, you don't. Do apologise about my phone. Anyway, in all fairness, I think gauge 9s are the most all-round string ever. I think gauge 10 sometimes can be a bit too bassy. I think gauge 8s can be a little bit too bright sometimes. I feel gauge 11s and 12s on that way up and just become like bass strings. and it's just too woolly for a guitar. I think gauge 9s are the perfect gauge of string, personally. I just think they feel the best, they sound the best, they're the most even on the frequency range from low to high and the mids. I love them personally, but again, not every guitar will like it, and not every guitar needs that kind of thing. Some guitars need 10s to balance them out, or 8s or 7s to balance them out. You know, it's whichever. Anyway, but yeah, anything else to report here? No. Okay, so hope that's the question okay, but like I say, follow your path. Don't follow anybody else's. Do what feels right to you, especially because, you know, you've been playing for 6 months. Keep down that line. If you like 9s on your Strat, stick to 9s. You know, when you get a Jag or a Les Paul, go 9s. You'll know. You will know, I promise you. You'll just feel it. It'll just be like, that either feels too loose or too tight. Either way. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, hope I answered your questions okay today, people of the tube. As usual, the fear is here! But I hope I answered your questions okay. I hope they've been informative, and I hope there's something in there for you. And yeah, I will see you again on Friday for another vid. I have a guitar to show you. I'm really looking forward to showing this guitar, actually. It's good, but there's a certain issue, which I will talk about with it. And we'll get to there on Friday. But until then, have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. If you like the videos I do here, please consider becoming a patron at Patreon. Link to that is in the description box below. If you want to submit a question for A&Q Wednesday, link for that is in the description box below. Dave merch, description box below. And also my music, description box below. So, thank you very much indeed for watching, PeopleTube, and I'll see you again on Friday. Have a great one until then. And have a good morning. And have a good afternoon. And a very good evening. And goodbye now. And find a way to shut out the ugliness of the world. Because we all need a break. See you again.